Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cockpit video. This one's going to be more of a progress update on a few things because I've done a number of smaller jobs on here. Now, if you remember on a previous video I installed this touchscreen which we've got Android on, and it's using an Asus Tinkerboard rather than Raspberry Pi or the original Nexus 7 tablet I was looking to use, and it's great, fantastic, apart from one thing. Of course, there's no sound output within this unit, whereas there was on the Android tablet. So what I needed to do is get some speakers attached to this so that I could listen to things whilst I'm flying along in the cockpit. So how do we do that? Well, if you remember, when I cut this plate, I put a couple of switches on it anyway. This one on the right here is essentially a standby switch, and this one here is a mute button, and I've added in this knurled knob here which is going to be for the volume control, and quickly whip that up on the lathe, which was a fairly easy operation. It's just face off some rod, machined down to the diameter I wanted, and I wanted it fairly chunky so I could reach it when I'm in the VR headset. So then knurled that so we got some grip on it, and then a quick chamfer on the end, and then flip that over once I've parted it off, put a hole in the back face of it, and also drilled a hole in the side with a 5mm grub screw just to hold that onto the potentiometer which is underneath here. So let's have a quick look at the other side of this plate and I'll show you what I've used. Okay, so here we are on the back of the plate, and you can see that here with one of the switches. There's the standby switch. Hopefully down the bottom here you can see we've got a 100-watt amplifier which I'll flash up on the screen from Amazon. We've got a 24-volt input just from an old laptop power supply going into there. There's two connectors here for the left and right speaker. Let's see if there you go, those two green ones there. The actual amplifier board itself, the inputs which come from a 3.5mm jack into these RCA connectors for left and right channel. And what I did do is I desoldered the potentiometer which was here and resoldered wires which then carry up to the volume potentiometer on the back of this plate, which you can't see. Let me get that in shot. Yeah, there you go, it's behind this piece here. Okay, so that's sound coming out of the Tinkerboard on the back into the amplifier. You've got the potentiometer to control the volume. Now there were a couple of other features on the board which I wired in. One's a standby switch for power standby, and the other one is a mute switch for muting the sound. So if I'm flying along listening to something and something interrupts me, I can just flick the mute switch up and kill it dead, and then when I power down the touch screen, rather than having an annoying hum, I can also go into standby mode and prevent that as well. Okay, so that's the amplifier side of it. Then we come to the speakers, and let's just switch over to the other side of the cockpit. Okay, here we are on the left hand side of the cockpit, and here's I had these old speakers that I've had for a while. Audiophiles, you can just cover your eyes up. They're not particularly pretty or brilliant speakers, but they're good enough for what I need them for in here. So however, they were a bit long and a bit unwieldy, so what I've actually done is I've chopped off the bottom of the speaker here and also a little bit of the top, and then what I've done, and you should be seeing it on screen, is I've recreated the silver end caps in Fusion 360 and then printed them out in black PLA. And then what I also did is remounted the inputs for the speaker wire in the ends, in one of the ends on there, and you can see the wire coming out here, which then goes off to the amplifier. Now I needed to mount this somehow on the extrusion, so I've printed out 4 of these brackets, and they hold the speaker in with a small grub screw, again holding that nice and steady. And also there's a 6mm extrusion bolt and nut to hold these brackets into this bottom piece of extrusion here. So all nice and rigid, which is good news. You don't want the speakers shaking about, and they work pretty well. So that's the sound system. Right, so let's test this out. Just get the screen up and running. Clear my alerts. So come out standby, mute off. There we go. All working. Right, turn that off before we get a copyright strike. So excellent. So that's all working. The mute works, you see, and standby obviously works as well, but you're not going to tell that because I've got the mute on. And let's just go for volume. Brilliant. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. And we've got some more stuff to do in the cockpit on the left hand side, but that's a bit of a surprise, and hopefully testing goes well for what I'm intending to do. So thanks a lot, and I'll catch you on the next one.